Good morning to everyone. Thank you for being with us during this webinar on how to write a convincing business plan. I am Gisela Sanchez, and I am responsible of European projects within Finance Innovation. As you know, Finance Innovation is part also from the UFO project in the one you are involved. Today webinar will be presented by Chantal Corbet. She's a member of Finance Innovation, and she's also a business angel and business mentor. So before I just hand over to Chantal, just to remind you that you will receive this webinar will be recorded, and we will send it to you afterwards. The presentation that Chantal will work with you will also be shared with among all the participants. The idea is to have a webinar as much interactive as we can. So you can write all the questions you have on the chat. There's a chat in the one I will be moderating the questions. So please just be open, ask your questions. We are among only SMEs from the UFO project. So the idea is just that you can ask as many questions as you can. So saying this, I will just hand over to Chantal. So I'll let you present yourself and to share with us the agenda of the session.
Thank you, Gisela. Good morning, everyone. Before we start, just a few words about myself. My name is Chantal Corbet. I am a member of a European network of business mentors at Invest International. And as a business mentor, I support entrepreneurs. I help them to expand their business, to find financing solutions and partnerships. And along with my professional activities, I've been a business angel for 10 years. I am a board member of Défense Angels, a French business angels network specialized in European strategic projects. And I'm also a member of another network, Femme Business Angels, which is a generalist network. I am a member of the jury in startups competitions and engagement committees of incubators, and I lead training sessions in clusters and incubators. I myself have invested in 15 startups. Let's begin the presentation. The goal of my today's presentation is to give you an easy way to write a business plan, which will be convincing for potential partners and investors, which will be a valuable tool for you to run your business. You find a lot of business plan templates on the internet. The one I am presenting to you today is the one I recommend to my clients because it's clear, easy to understand, and above all, very logical, and as a consequence, very convincing. Each part of the business plan results from the above. There is a logical chain of reasoning, thus conclusions appear obvious. So there will be 3 parts in my presentation. In the first place, I'd like to go back to the meaning of business plan and why you need one. If you are here, I think you are already convinced you need one. And then I will explain how to write a business plan step by step. At the end, I will come back to common mistakes, what you have to do, what you should not do to have a good business plan. So let's begin. Well, a business plan is a document that defines in detail a company's objectives and how it will achieve them. It's 15-20 page document. 25 is the maximum if you want to be sure that the reader will read it in its entirety. It outlines how you will achieve your business objectives and includes all key information about your product, marketing strategies, and finances. You should create one when you're starting a new business and keep updating it as your business grows. It's a very valuable tool to run your business. It's also very useful if you want to raise funds. Some investors want a business plan. Sometimes it's mandatory. Sometimes it's not mandatory, but it's useful. It's more convincing than just a pitch deck or an executive summary. It can be useful too if you want to borrow from a bank or from another lender. Also, if you are considering selling your company in the future, and if you will increase your chances of success with potential buyers, it can be useful to communicate your ideas with stakeholders, also to convince people to work for you, communicate objectives and benchmarks to the company's employees. So it's useful in many situations. And above all, it's very, very useful for you it's essential for you more than for any other people, because it helps you to elaborate a successful strategy and to understand what you need to implement it. It's very useful to make sound decisions, to help you identify any potential weaknesses, to determine if there are any gaps in your strategy, and to avoid to make big mistakes. It's a communication document, so you must create an appealing appearance. It must be easy to read, easy to understand. It must speak for itself. It must be clear, consistent, logical. So, the business plan template I will explain has 3 parts. First, you have to write an executive summary. I will go back to this later on. And then you have 2 parts, 2 main parts. First, descriptive part, situation today, who you are, what you want to do, where you want to go, and then a projective part where you explain how you will do to go there, to go where you want to do. You want to go, and then some annexes. We will go back to that later. First of all, before you start writing the business plan, it's a good thing to fill in this form. I think you know it. It's a business model canvas. If you want to write a business plan, it's better to fill in this form before, because we will able to see if you have thought of everything useful for the business plan. There are 9 components in this form. The most important of them is customer segments. Do you want which audience you want to reach? Do you know who are your customers? What are their needs, wishes, problems? There is value proposition. Value proposition describes what added value your product or service offers to customers. Do you know what problems you want to solve with your product or service? There are also customer relationships. Do you know how you will communicate with your different customer segments? Which is the right and most profitable way for each segment? Do you know the channels, marketing and distribution channels? How are customers kept informed of your offer? What image you want to project? Of course, you have to know your revenue streams, which will be your sources of income. You have to know your key resources, resources and then people you need to meet the needs of your customer. Your key activities, what are the most important activities you need to do as a company in order for your model to work. You have to know your key partners, who are they? And you have to know your biggest costs and which are essential to make your business model work. If everything is clear in your mind, you can start working on your business plan. Otherwise, I recommend you sit down and think about it and try to make ideas clear in your mind before starting to write. The executive summary is the first part of a business plan. It's a synthetic summary of the project. It's an important part because when the reader read it, he's looking if your project interests him, and if it's like a movie trailer. If he doesn't like what you have written in the executive summary, he won't read the other parts. So it's very, very important. The primary goal is to make the readers interested in learning more. Usually, you write it at the end when you have written the other part, because it's a summary, and your ideas will change when you will write the business plan. So it's better to write it at the end. The following part is situation today, the descriptive part. What you are today, who you are, what's the origin of the project, what's your vision, and what I have written in bold, what's the most interesting for investors, team, offer, and market. In this part, you must talk also of the stage of development. Has the proof of concept been provided? And it's a good thing to have a risk analysis. First, the team. What you have to demonstrate in this part is the team is the right one. In the minds of investors, team is the most important asset. Investors think that your startup, your SME, I don't know what's your company, your business is nothing if you don't have a good team to put your ideas into action. Having the right team in place is considered an important asset for your business. So you have to demonstrate The team knows the industry, what's the background of each founder. Does one have an experience in the industry? That's important. Is the team complementary? If there are all sorts of skills in the team, technical skills, management, commercial skills. Has someone, one of the founder, at least an entrepreneurial or at least managerial experience? And do the founders work on the project full-time? That's very important. Sometimes founders work part-time at the beginning of the project. It can't last very long. Investors want founders to work full-time. And it's better if founders have invested some money in the project. It's not mandatory, but it's better too. The offer. Your solution must meet a consumer's demand. It must come from an observation. The consumer must understand its advantages. You must always carry out a market study. You can't bypass the market study. It's very important. Because if you don't carry out a market study, you won't be sure that your solution meets consumers' need. And you won't be sure that you fill a market gap. I think you are familiar with the acronym MVP, Minimum Viable Product. It's also a very important notion. You have to bring to market a solution as soon as possible. Never wait that your offer is perfect. As soon as you can bring something to market, do it. And then see how clients react and make improvements based on customers' feedback. When your offer is innovative, you can be sure that it will meet your demand. It will meet the demand of the consumers, even if you have studied the market carefully. So both are important. Carry out a study market and bring solution to market as soon as possible. The offer must be simple and easily understandable. It must be time to market. I think you know what it means. The expression time to market can have two meanings. It's the total length of time it takes to bring the product from conception to market availability. And it's also the right time to arrive on the market. When I say time to market, that's what I mean. The right time to arrive on the market. If you arrive too late, there are too many competitors, too many substitute products, and you can't succeed because the market is crowded. Too early is not good. Neither is it good because consumers don't understand your solution. And for instance, a few companies were created in France in 1999 to offer e-learning, and all these companies failed. The consumers were not ready. They didn't understand how you could learn online. So it's important to be time to market and to arrive on the market not too early, not too late. Second thing, the offer is innovative. I'm speaking of a startup. you must be sure that the solution set the startup apart from competitors. It's not, never mind which type of innovation it is. It needs not to be disruptive, not even radical. It can be an incremental innovation, new features to a product, for instance, but it must have a strong differentiating character. And you must be able to explain why it's very different, excuse me, from what exists on the market. Ideally, there are patents, but you can't always have patents. Some innovation can be proved by patent, and it's not a good thing to file a patent. It depends. In general, is a good thing because it's real innovative. What you do is real innovative, but it can help competitors to copy what you have done. So you have to choose what's important. It's that you can explain the inventors why you have filed patents or why you don't want to do it. Market. You have to demonstrate market is large or growing fast. Sometimes you can have a go, it can be a niche, but only if the margins are significant. The best is if the market is large or growing fast. The best way to demonstrate you have a large market is to do, like you see on the slide, to begin to start from the total available market. One example, iPhone markets, smartphones market, smartphone context, and then you deduct the serviceable available market, and then the serviceable obtainable market. I mean the people you are going to target, you have chosen to target. Competition must have been analyzed in detail. Direct competition and indirect competition. Substitution products are very important. They have to be analyzed to a substitute product is a product that serves the same purpose as your solution and can have and can replace your solution. A pen is a substitute product of a pencil. A broom is a substitute product, a vacuum cleaner. So you have to analyze both. The competitive advantage must be adapted. You must demonstrate it. And there must be barriers to market entry for future competitors. Common barriers can be special tax benefit, special tax, patent protections, of course. Can be a strong brand identity, sometimes customer loyalty. Can be high customer switching costs too. You must be able to explain that there are barriers to market entry. The stage of development. Proof of concept has been provided. Investors invest in a startup when it is at least at TRL7. I don't know if you know the notion of TRL, technology readiness level. TRL7 means there is a prototype, an operational prototype. TRL readiness levels are scaled from 1 to 9. 1 is the IT, 9 is commercialization. So you have to be able to tell the investor you have already a prototype, at least a prototype or beta version. Otherwise, you can show metrics which prove commercial traction. For instance, if it is a marketplace, the best is if you have a couple of customers, partnerships with key accounts, a few orders. If you have won awards and prizes, specific distinctions obtained in your industry, it's a good thing too. The last part regarding the descriptive part is risk analysis. I think you know that form. You have to identify the risk, make a list of potential risks that you could encounter as a result of the course of action you are considering. Then you have to define levels of uncertainty, estimate the impact of uncertainty, and complete this risk analysis model. Then analyze the results, of course, and implement solution. If you are regarding risk in the green boxes, you can avoid them. You can accept them and assume the risk. If it's intolerable risk, those who are in the right box, you have to do something. And you have to do something before writing the business plan and communicate it, of course. There are many solutions. Solution of control, transference of risk, monitoring risk, but you have to explain what solutions you have set and how you compensate all these risks. Second part, projective part, the deployment of a strategy. First of all, you have to have a SWOT analysis. I think you know that sort of analysis. Explain the action plans. You are going to lead related to the conclusions of your analysis. What will be the roadmap, and then financial actions, financial projections. How to define the strategy? SWOT analysis is a way to show your strengths and opportunities. Of course, this exercise will be convincing if you can show you have a lot of strengths and there are a lot of opportunities on the market. don't cheat. But if there is a lot of things in the box weaknesses and in the box traits, it's not a good thing, of course. In the internal strengths and weaknesses, there must be things regarding your team, your offer, your business model, and in the external part, opportunities and threats. It's all happening on the market. Opportunities can be emerging needs that your product can address, expansion of relationships, new marketing and promotion channels, new or underserved markets, strategic partnerships, favorable regulation. Threats can be increased competition, customer perspectives, small market size, uncertainty, economic or political environments. Strengths can be brand awarenesses, intellectual property patents, skilled leadership and team members, unique qualities that differentiate you from competitors, and weaknesses can be lack of expertise or experience in a certain area, lack of product development resources, limited product offerings, slow brand penetration. The following stage is the demonstration that your strategy is the best. You analyze the results of a first form, and you have 4 types of strategies. SO, when you have a lot of trends and opportunities, the best one is the most convincing. You can have an offensive strategy. You have a growth potential. And if you're not in this situation, if it doesn't apply to your company, you have to think about what you can do before finishing to write your business plan. If you are in the ST situation, if you have a lot of strength and traits, you can adopt only defensive strategy. You must use your internal strengths to avoid or minimize the external threats. It's a difficult situation because you have you have no means to change the market threats. So you have to think about before ending the business plan. If you are in the WO situation, it's better because you can change something in your company, maybe the team or the solution, and then being able to exploit external opportunities. Maybe it's time to think about a pivot, but you have to ask yourself some questions. If you have a growing company, being in this situation means you have to think about diversification, repositioning. So think about if you are not in the SO situation. Then you have to find the action plans related to your strategy. There are all sorts of action plans: recruitment, communication, marketing, industrial, commercial, and R&D partners, research and development, legal, other action plans. Funding is in the last place, because funding depends on all sorts of action plans, and you know how much money you need when you have defined all the other action plans. Then you have to define a roadmap, how you determine the action plans you have to implement, how you have to explain how and when you will implement the action plans. Set a timetable and explain how you differentiate in time each specific action. What are the key milestones? What are the deliverables at each maturity date? And then financial forecast. Time horizon, 3 to 5 years. It's a good period. Of course, financial forecasts must be consistent with what you have written in the other parts of the business plan. What investors look at first are assumptions and reasoning, more than figures. It's sometimes difficult to do financial forecasts if you are a startup. So investors think assumptions and reasoning are more important. So be able to explain all your assumptions and how you reason. Sometimes it's a good thing to have a worst case scenario. It can reassure and demonstrate that even if everything goes wrong, you can survive. Annexes. You have to put in annexes everything useful to understand your project, and founders' resumes. That's a good thing. Investors like to have them. Your market study. Sometimes you put financial forecast attached to business plan because it's large. It's a big file. Cash forecasts are useful too. And you can put any other relevant information, competitive analysis, information of your customer segmentation, over marketing information, everything. Newspaper articles on the market, what prove the market is growing fast, can be useful too. Okay, so some tips. Common mistakes I often see in business plans. Sometimes, often, there are too many pages dedicated to technical descriptions. That's not what investors are interested in. You have to focus on customers' need, on your solution, on why it meets customers' need. Don't explain too long how it functions, how it works. Investors don't need to know how it works. They just want to know if it meets a customer's need. Some business plans are too long. 25 pages is a maximum. 20 is good. Often there is a lack in competition analysis. Major competitors have been forgotten. There is no analysis of substitution products. There are often inconsistencies between written part and quantified forecast. You have to check that. It's not easy. You have to check many times, because when you write your business plan, your ideas change. So you have to come back to financial forecast sometimes a few times. But all parts must be consistent with each other. Your strategy, of course, must be consistent with results of Sweto's conclusions. Profit margins and expected benefits must be credible. And now a few more tips. Write synthetic document, okay. Create an attractive appearance. Don't forget, it is a communication document. Have the business plan reviewed by several persons who don't know the project, experts, and also persons who don't know the industry. A child sometimes is a good thing. Use a specific software. There are a lot on the internet for the financial forecast to avoid forgetting anything. Okay. I finished. So if you have any questions, I will try to answer.
Thank you very much, Chantal. The presentation was really nice. There are some questions actually on the chat. One of them is regarding the the template available. Wait, I will share. If there is a template available, I don't know what Paul means about the template, but the presentation will be available to all the participants. Anyhow, the presentation of Chantal will be available. And there is another one, and that's why I wanted to share actually your, just 1 second. Because there is one question regarding how long should cover the roadmap. You mentioned the roadmap on one of the slides. So we have a question, how long it should be?
3 to 5 years is a good. It depends of your technical readiness level. It's a good thing to go to commercialization. So if you think you will commercialize in 10 years, it's good to have a roadmap which lasts 10 years. I hope you will commercialize a bit earlier. 3 to 5 years is good.
Okay, thank you. And then also we have another question regarding, so I will read it. Sometimes we hear that French and EU investors are conservative versus UK or US investors, in particular regarding the TRL level, you mentioned, TRL 7, when it comes to disruptive technologies. The proof of concept is an investment. Here it seems that the project needs to be almost completely mature. How do you how to do with early stage projects with an emerging market?
In France, investors think you can invest in a startup before TRL7 when it is a technological. When it is technological innovation, it's normal to invest before that TRL because you need money for research and development expenses. So you can get funded even if you are TRL 5 or 6, not earlier. But it must be technological. If it's just an incremental innovation, it's not possible. Now in France, we say that in UK, investors are less conservative than in France. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Chantal. Then I think that was the last question. Yes, I don't think I have another one. So there, yes, there is one. Let's type here. You know, I think everyone liked the presentation. I think things were very clear, Chantal. Just maybe to finish, as we used to do in our French webinars, you mentioned some tips at the end. If you can just give one for all the CEOs and SMEs that are participating today. I know it might be hard to just give one tip, but what could it be, Chantal, if you have to say?
On the substantive part, your solution must meet a need, a consumer's need. On the design part, create an appealing product. It's a communication document.
Yeah, that's very important, actually. Yeah. So I think as we don't have any more questions, I can just say thank you very much, Chantal, for this presentation. We will share the information with the participants and the other people of the project that were not present today as well. Thank you to all the participants and the questions. And I can just tell you have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And sorry for my English.
Don't worry, it was perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Chantal. Bye.
Bye-bye.